Hey, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our May Day call. May Day, May Day. May 1st, training call for Thursday morning. And this call got unofficially dubbed as Hat Day. One good hat led to another. Now look at all the beautiful hats that we have here today.
This is great.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So today our
Honey, are
subject for
you recording?
today.
Are you recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Okay,
Mhm.
great.
Uh, yeah, our subject for today is the role and responsibility of being a good sponsor. We talk a lot about how to get people in, but one of the keys to keep.
You went on mute, honey. You must have erased your.
I think there must be some hand motion I do that mutes because I didn't touch anything, or Tim's playing games with me again. But You know, when we're building the business, a lot of our job, if you will, are is in the we're presenters. We're kind of in the sharing and caring business, but let's face it, marketing is more sharing event. We're sharing information. We're piquing people's interest, and as the saying goes, our job is to interrupt someone and make them interested in something they didn't know existed, and then we feed them information. How much, a little, a lot, hot, cold, lukewarm, but our job is to give people enough information to make an informed decision, and when the decision is yes, they want to join, that's time to celebrate, because we know you hear a lot of no's on the way to that yes, right? And that's time to celebrate, step back, and now focus on that person. And I was thinking, your job really changes from that of marketer to mentor. Because when someone makes a decision to join, there's a certain fallowness of consciousness, if you will. There's an openness. Okay, I give, or I'm excited, whatever mode they're in when they say yes. Now it's your turn to shift the focus, get to know them, to connect. You know, the goal is, the ultimate goal in this business, develop long-term mutually rewarding relationships. We're in the people business. And some people get in for a short period of time, some people get in for a long period of time. You're looking for the people who are going to be long-term partners, upline, downline with the companies, cross-line relationships, but we're in the relationship marketing business, right? So I think it's really important that when someone finally does say yes and joins your team, you recognize you have to take one hat off and put another one on. You got to take your marketing hat off, put your mentor hat on, not manager hat, mentor hat on, and help that person get enough new information about the business to get started and succeed. And, there's a couple of points I want to leave you with, kind of tee it up, because Jim Gilliland's going to be our featured speaker this morning. And Jim was a top trainer, mentor, builder, consultant for probably the largest water company in the world, water system company in the world. And now, he's on the way to being, having that esteemed role with LifeWave. He's building a wonderful team, working with our corporate partners on structure and strategy for the release of our X2O system. And Jim's going to talk about, from his perspective, what it means to be a sponsor, a mentor, and how to get people going. But the thing I mentioned, goal number one: long-term mutually rewarding relationships. Important point number two: work with the willing. And how do you know if they're willing? I learned a long time ago, after many failed efforts, that first the why, then the how. Because what I learned, if the why is not big enough, they're not going to do it anyway, and you're wasting your time and theirs. And that's where you're working with the willing. You're working with people that really want this, and they want to, and you got to support them at their level. So there's a concept that I developed over the years called match commitment. Don't overcommit to the undercommitted. Don't undercommit to the overcommitted. So, with that Jim, I think I've spilled enough of my guts here this morning. And I'd like to zip the lip and turn it over to you. And thank you for being with us here today.
Well, Gregory, it's good to be here. I gotta wear my Golden Knights hat, where it's hockey season, the Stanley Cup. So, when they form a hockey team, they go out and they recruit people. And in our business, we're about recruiting. We're always want to be doing is we have that pipeline. We always want to be filling that pipeline up and then or the funnel, and some's going to trickle out the bottom. But as we get to know people, people join our business with us because we built that relationship. That people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And so as we start to build our business and we build that trust, when we sponsor someone, we don't just leave them. Okay. I've been involved with companies. I haven't been involved with a lot of companies in 29 years. I've been with 3. But the thing is, I've seen people sponsor people and then leave them. They become orphans, okay? Because they don't do their job as a sponsor. And a lot of us think a sponsor is just someone that goes out and recruits people, and they sign their name, says sponsor on the bottom of the form or on the online. Sponsoring is a lot more than just recruiting someone and signing them up. We want to do is when we build that relationship and we recruit them, then we want to do is and sponsor them. We want to do is teach them how to be independent of us. Then we go from being a dependent state where they require you to show them how to do the ropes, how to do the business. But we want to teach them to become independent as soon as possible. And so, like you said, we need to teach them about their why. We need to get them to really look inside themselves and say, why do I want to share this product? Why do I want to share this business? And if their why is not big enough, it's harder for them to succeed. So I had my why when I got involved in this company. As far as a product, I have a big why now, why I'm actually doing the business. And then once I develop those, now my why is, okay, where do I want to go? Where do I want to go with this business? So once again, the responsibility of a sponsor is to take people from dependency to independency. We want to teach them and show them. We want to tell them how to do business. We're not going to tell them what to do. Because remember, when people come in this business, they come in the business for themselves, but not by themselves. We're there to support them. And a lot of people come in this business and they don't know where to start. We don't know where to go. And so we just sign them up and leave them. Hey, what are we doing? We're, getting a bunch of orphans out there that go out there and they make claims and they make a mess. And then we have to come back along and clean up that mess. So the 4 steps of sponsoring is simple. We need to learn how to tell. We need to learn how to show, try, and do. Those are 4 things as a brand partner we need to teach them as a new brand partner. So, when we say tell, I said, I've been in a situation that I was being told what to do. And if I didn't do what was told, then, I might as well quit. No, once again, when they sign that contract or become a brand partner, they are the president CEO of their own company. But where do they begin? So liveyoungersuccess.com has become my, I hate to say Bible, it's become my roadmap on this business. I didn't have it before. My first year and a half in this company, I didn't have any direction. Matter of fact, I was told, don't look at the back office. Don't do this. Don't do that. It's like all the stuff that I need to know. And I lost some big fish because I didn't know what, I didn't know the compensation plan. I didn't know, where to point them. Then when I met you guys, you and Robin, and I saw liveyungersuccess.com, I thought, oh my gosh, all these years, 29 years of doing network marketing, and I never had a roadmap like this to teach me. I always had to develop my own. And so as a brand partner and we bring someone in, first we want to do is we want to do the initial orientation, get to know them. And Robin will probably talk about that a little bit here. It's right there. Everything is there in the liveyungersuccess.com site. So we want to direct them there. I did a meeting 2 nights ago, and a lot of the people, even though I've been talking about it and sharing about it, have never been there. So we literally sat down in a room and I showed them how to use, our InTouch app, even though that's on step number 1 of Live Younger Success. So some people take a little bit more hands-on, and some people will take it and run. We have people on this call right now that I know they didn't need someone to hold their hand. Okay, they know how to follow directions. Go to liveyungersuccess.com and step 1, 2, 3. Finish those, go to 4, 5, 6, and 7. But if they don't know where to find the information, then they're not going to get there. So we need to train them. We need to be their mentor. Once again, the goal is to get them from dependency to independent. In my last 2 companies, I can be really honest with you, I didn't have a success plan like this we do on our website. And so I did everything for everyone, and they became dependent on me. They didn't become independent. I did all the meetings. I grew 13 people to the top level by doing everything for them because I was a good sponsor. I stayed followed up with them, but I didn't do the things that you need to do as far as having a plan for them, a roadmap. So you need to keep them, you need to support them and motivate them. We need to continue to, like I tell people, when Marianne and I got married 50 plus years ago, I dated her, I romanced her, and we got married. I didn't stop dating her and romancing her. And that's the reason why we married 50 years plus, because just like your prospect, you bring them in, you sponsor them, you need to follow up, you need to touch base with them. Now, it gets harder as your team grows. I mean, Rob and I were talking the other day. I've sponsored 125 plus people. I stopped counting at 125. I sponsor a lot of people. I'm a good recruiter, but I want to be even better sponsor. Recruiting is just getting them to the table. A sponsor is teaching them how to do the business so that they continue to grow their business, so they can become successful. So we want to support them, motivate them. How do you do that? You get them on the Zooms. Okay, you get them on conference calls. You just want to be able to get them to 3-way phone calls. I like 3-way Zooms, 4-way Zooms. That way we can see each other face to face. If you don't have Zoom, you don't know how to use it, I really highly suggest that you learn how to do Zoom. If you don't know how to do a 3-way phone call, same thing. Learn the tools. Those are the tools of the business. Tools make you rich, okay? As a masonry tile contractor, I had the tools of the trade, and they had to be good tools. Otherwise, my work looked like my tools performed. As a highway patrolman, as a CHP officer, my tools of my trade were my gun, my baton, my mace, my handcuffs, my patrol car, my computers. If they weren't working, I wasn't working. With this job, not a job, what's a job? Just over broke. With this career, the way you build your career is you learn the tools. You learn how to do it 3-way. You learn how to do Zoom, and you teach your people how to do the same. It might take sitting down with them and saying, okay, here's your cell phone. Here's how to add a call. But you teach them, you show them, and you let them do it themselves. One of my guys the other night, he didn't know how to use the WhatsApp, or not the WhatsApp, but the InTouch app. So we sat down with a couple of them, and we did it step by step. and then I had them do it step by step. Once again, teaching them going from dependency to being independent. And we want to do things that are duplicatable. If we're not duplicatable, it makes it tough for people to follow you. I like the old saying, lead from the front. I try to out recruit everybody in my team. I try to set example. Okay. I do meetings, I do whatever it takes. I want to show by example how you build your business. And it's got to be duplicatable. And when I say duplicatable, in my business, I don't know how you guys do yours, but I have them watch a 3-minute video, liveyounger.com. Now it's liveyounger.com/Jim Gilliland. But then if they need to sample, I let them sample one patch. I don't give them a slew of patches. That's just the way I've been doing since I came in the business. I sample one X39 patch. The idea, once again, as you train them, is to feel the patch, see what it feels like, see it doesn't pull your skin, it stays on all day long, and hopefully they experience something the first day. I didn't. It's 4 months later before I figured it out. So once again, we want to be duplicatable. If you're teaching them and I said, everybody does their business differently. I'm telling you how I do mine. I don't wallpaper people with patches. If they want to do that at home in their own time after they've been on the patch, well, great. But I don't do that. And so I don't teach it. I teach a duplicatable system. Watch the video. If you're interested, let's go ahead and get you signed up. Or if they want to try a sample, I give them one patch. That's the way I do it. I've been doing it that way since I got going, and it seems to work. Then as we teach people how to do the business, they're going to teach their people. If you don't teach them correctly, they're going to teach their people incorrectly. I've got a lot of theory on things, a lot of ideas, a lot of concepts, and a lot of it comes from researching the patches. It comes from researching the business, the industry, and they said it works. You have your own way of doing business. I'm just telling you how I do mine. Promote events. This is an event. Okay. Our Zoom calls are an event. We want to promote events. We want to teach people go from event to event. But if they don't know where to find the events, where do they find the Zooms? Where to find the boot camps coming up? The different events, our conference. If they don't know where to find it, they're not going to be there. So once again, sometimes you got to hold them by the hand and take them to the next, spot to find the events. But the beauty of this thing is liveyoungersuccess.com. We have all the stuff laid out for us. You can't ask for a better website to find everything, to learn the things. I mean, that's what's made this business so much easier for me, because I don't have to recreate the wheel. It's duplicatable and we can share it. So promote events, and remember, a sponsor is not responsible. A sponsor is not responsible for a recruit's success. Okay, but we're responsible for creating a supportive, success-oriented environment. You don't want to do is sign someone up and leave them sit. You don't want to sign someone up and not teach them how to do the business. If you do, you're not a sponsor. Okay. You're just a recruiter, and, we need to teach these people. So, just keep it simple, keep it duplicatable, take them to the website, teach them. But remember, there comes a time where they have to become independent. And the faster you get them independent, the faster they will grow and the faster your business will grow. So, Gregory, if you have any questions or whatever, but that's my 2 bits for the day.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, you had a lot of 2 bits, and I loved how you said the tools will make you rich. That's what we talk about. That's where we get our leverage, and that focus of going from dependence to independence, and as Stephen Covey would say, to interdependence. You know, this is a team sport. We do it together. And I love that you shared so much about supporting that, you know, there is a sacred responsibility, like Gregory says, of being a sponsor. And sadly, some people become the disappearing sponsor and leave orphans, and then we have to take care of the orphans. So when we sponsor people, like Jim says, take them through the tour. We're really tour guides, you know, in the beginning. We show them what we have available as the tools, because if you're talking, you're pointing to a tool. And so you get them oriented. I love that. And you become the tour guide. I don't think you mentioned it, but I know you do it. Sending a welcome letter. You want to just briefly share that?
Yes, a matter of fact, I use the welcome letter that that we find in our back office of our liveyoungersuccess.com. It's a simple letter. It's welcome in businesses, giving them their ID number, their login, their password, and it just welcomes them. It also talks about Robin Gregory, my upline spot, my upline, that this is a system they put together. And you know what? We want to edify our uplines because if you're not there, they will be. I tell people if you can't get help, go upline, but don't rely on your upline to do everything for you. So, but the welcome letter lays it out and welcomes them. I do that every time that I bring someone to business. And all I just do is copy and paste, and I change the numbers and the information.
I love it. I love it. Well, you're doing an amazing job, and we're very, very grateful. And, you know, there is a responsibility, and it is a relationship business. And we have someone else who's going to share this morning a little bit about her insights on being a sponsor, and that is Karen. And let me pin you. We're going to add you to the pin here. There she is. So both Jim and Karen raised their hand when the topic came up yesterday on our director's call that they wanted to contribute. So Karen, over to you, my dear, another one of our directors.
Thank you. Thank you so much. am I am absolutely thrilled to be here. And I will say, you know, stepping off the curb right now, out of the gate, I am a new sponsor, so to speak. I have been wearing the patches for quite some time, but I did not become fully engaged until really the past 12 months. So Jim is saying, you know, he's had 29 years of network marketing, which I think is awesome. Robin and Greg, I know that you guys have many, many years. And I have had 12 months of network marketing. I would never consider myself a network marketer. And in the 12 months, which I think is, you know, I kind of am proud of our team, is that I was able to become a director in 12 months. But one of the things that I have to say is that for any new people sponsoring somebody, Robin, you're absolutely right. It is a sacred trust. I have sponsored many, many people on another platform, so I know what the responsibility of sponsorship is. But as far as we go, I have this on my desk, the responsibilities of being a sponsor.
Would you read those? I'd love to hear.
Okay. It's network marketing and responsibilities of being a sponsor. Number one, recruit and enroll new brand partners. Share the opportunity clearly and honestly. And I think that's a big thing, is to be completely transparent and honest. Help your new recruits sign up and navigate their back office. And we've talked about that. You know, we've got our InTouch app. I mean, and the tools that are given to us that have been set up by you guys are phenomenal. Set clear expectations from the start. All right, that's number one. Number two, train and onboard, which we do. Train or provide orientation, product education. And I think the product education is one of the biggest things. I know all of you are on Facebook and Instagram in many, many Facebook groups. And some of the information that you see going off of those groups can be a little startling. So I have my people, if they ever see anything go across, on social media, check back with me. I had an incident with a brand partner last week who read something that somebody said on social media and came back to me, and she was very upset. I said, well, just check back with me, and if I don't have the answer, I can find the answer for you. So teach how to use tools, systems, and marketing. Number 3 is mentor and support. Now, Jim had said, about being a recruiter, which I love that. So, and here we have the yin and yang of it is we have, somebody on Jim's level, and I feel like I am with the masters right here, and I'm the new kid on the block. We've got Jim, who is a master recruiter, and I am more, I would say, the mentoring. So I have to get that balance of what to do. I lose myself and focus on mentoring, and then I look at my stuff and I say, oh, I really need to spend a little more time recruiting. So I need this. And in that, you offer consistent encouragement. You guide your team members, and you share personal success tips and strategies, which we do. And then number 4 is model leadership. And the last one is celebrate wins and milestones. And all of you know that in our Live Younger group, we are celebrating wins and milestones. So my takeaway from today is I want to learn a balance in my business. I can get up, and I've had people on my team that are strictly recruit. And I find myself going down the rabbit hole of maintaining their business, which is great. But then I need to pull back and teach them a little bit more about how to maintain their own business. So that's where I am today. And I'm so happy to be here. And thank you for giving me this opportunity,
Well,
Robert, to get on this call.
I love that. Thank you so much. That's wonderful that you have that framed right at your desk. And so that's really the message we wanted to give today. What Karen was talking about, we're showing them the opportunity, we're guiding them around the back office, we're orient them, product education, keep it really simple, focus on X39 for product education. Don't get into all the patches because you'll create confusion, and confused mind does nothing. And so keep it really simple and duplicatable, providing mentorship and support, letting people know you're here and let them know how to be in touch with you. So thank you, Karen. That was fabulous. And I'm going to unpin you if I can. Gregory, you want to do that? Thank you. And I want to talk a little bit just to finish this up, and then we'll open up for questions. Because on Thursday mornings we do training, which we did this morning, and then we open up for Q&A of any kind of business questions. But I want to go back to the very beginning of, when we're working with someone, it is an opportunity to get to know them. Remember, and you hear me say this all the time, Robin's a broken record in my head. It's a relationship business first and foremost. So taking the time, like Gregory likes to say, slow down to move fast. In the very beginning of that relationship, when they have just joined, to take the time to get to know them. And in Live Younger Success, under Business Basics, there's actually a getting to know you form. We just made it really easy for you guys. You don't have to ask everything on there, but it helps. It says to someone that you're important. I want to get to know you better. Why are you doing this? What are you trying to accomplish? How much time do you want to put in? What kind of goals do you have? Why are you doing this? And, how would you like me to communicate? Text, email, phone, how often? I love Gregory's line, never end one exposure without setting up the next. And that's true for your prospects, it's true for your customers, and it's true for your brand partners. So if I'm sponsoring someone and they're brand new, I make the next date while we're on that initial getting to know you call. And many of you hear me spew out Stephen Covey quotes all the time, but my favorite one, as many of you know, is the deepest need of the human soul is to be appreciated, acknowledged, affirmed, and understood. It's like, way to go. So glad you made the decision. We're here to work with you and link arms. And this is a team sport. And thank you, sir, for taking the time to let me know what's important to you and why you're doing this. And really value them and appreciate them. That 15, 20 minutes up front makes a world of difference to the building that relationship. And Gregory likes to say in conventional sales, we close a deal. In network marketing, we open a relationship. And so we have that opportunity to develop these long-term, mutually rewarding relationships. That's Gregory once again. His quotes fall out of my mouth all the time, as you know. And that's what we're here for because we're here to celebrate. We're here to go through the challenges. We're here to guide and educate. And isn't that beautiful? So we've got some hands up. Well, a few went down, but we'll start with the ones that are up. And so, Royden, your hand is up first. Anything about what the topic for today or anything about business? But let's start with the topic for today. So, Royden, you're on. You want to unmute?
Thank you. First of all, I want to say, Jim, you better hope your Knights don't have to face off against my Jets. But anyway, my question. So the single patch that you give as a trial, what percentage of people that don't notice a change there actually end up do you end up being able to recruit? Is it almost nothing? I'm just curious how you navigate that.
Well,
So
okay.
far I've done a couple patches, maybe 2 or 3. But another thing I have, how often do you get the rebuttal of, oh, these patches are really expensive?
Okay. Let's start with, does anyone, I'm happy to take that, but would anyone like to answer part one or part two?
I think you addressed it to Jim. Why don't we let Jim follow up on that?
Well, if I'm hearing it right, why do we use one patch, or why do I recommend one patch? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering if it's if they don't notice a change, which some people are like that, what percentage of those cases actually do you end up being able to sponsor?
Well, I'll tell you what. I try to always explain to people, we're not trying to cure all the things in your body with one patch. The one patch, when I sample it to someone, is to let them see, feel, and hopefully they get experience. There are some one patch wonders out there, and a lot of mine are doctors. I don't know why. Maybe they're more in tune to their body. But the thing is, I want someone to realize that this patch is going to do just about everything they need to be done, the X39, as far as your body reversing the age process and getting to where it needs to go. And I don't go into a lot of science. You know what? The old thing is facts tell, stories sell. So I tell stories. What we want to do is share the patch with them. And I don't want them thinking they have to go out and buy or put $40 for the patches or whatever. Sometimes people put patches all over their bodies. Maybe they need it. I don't want my customers thinking that they need to have all these. I have a doctor, a very well-known, world-known doctor, a vascular surgeon. He has a trauma clinic and he treats wounds. He has such a life-changing experience with one patch, and he knows it from day one that he won't ever go without it. Now, this is a surgeon, a doctor, someone that, he's an MD. He's not a naturopath, but this one patch just changed his life. Do I get an experience like that? I didn't. My experience, yeah, I got experience, but it took me doing blood work to find my experience. But I don't go a day without them because I don't want to reverse the process.
Okay. Who's that part?
I
So
think so.
thank you, Jim. And right now I want to add to that. uh, our favorite chimney sweep, Ron Rabin, does
Right.
a beautiful job of setting expectations. And that's one of the most important things if you're going to give one patch, to set expectations. And what he says to people is you probably won't notice anything, and it's still working. And I'd love to connect with you tomorrow to help you get set up with a 30-day risk-free trial. So the setting of expectations makes a huge difference. And in clinical studies, we know that a lot of people do notice something, and it's always important to give them a health tracker so they know what to look for and what to notice. Because typically people want to, they want their bad knee to get better. But what ends up happening is they have the best night's sleep they've had, and they don't even realize it was related to the patch. But if you give them that tracker and they notice, whoa, mobility, energy, mental clarity, all kinds of things can be better. And so then you want to set up that follow up and be back in touch with them the next day. And if you set the expectations properly, it doesn't matter if they notice anything or not. But if you set it up right, it will make a difference. Gregor, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to add to what you said about the health tracker. And I think that goes hand in glove with both with sampling and giving someone a patch and with sponsoring whenever you start somebody, because the health tracker gives you a big long list of things you might feel. And it's just like, I never saw a blue Audi Q8 until I got one. And then, well, there's one. Well, there's another one. It's that kind of thing. And when you let people know the things that might happen, there's a bigger tendency for them to notice it. So I think the health tracker is just invaluable in the sampling and in the sponsoring phase. Jim, what do you think?
I agree. And the thing is, just like you and Robin are saying, follow up. If you patch someone and you don't follow up, the old saying, if you don't follow up, you foul up. First of all, that tells them you care enough about them to follow up and see how they're doing. But that starts the whole sponsoring process. We're going to follow up, follow up, follow up. We want to make sure, hey, how's your business going? How's your patch going? With the patches, you need to follow up. And you need to make, are you drinking enough water? Why not getting results? Are you putting it on for 10 to 12 hours? Yeah. Well, I'm getting at, maybe they're getting a little detox symptoms, a little healing crisis. We want to do is walk them through them. Okay, maybe do it for 6 hours, whatever it might be. Follow up, answer questions, ask questions, let them talk, and then if you can't answer the question, if not, three-way them to someone who can.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. We got a bunch of other hands up. Okay. Let's see here.
Michelle, Royden, did we cover your questions? Okay.
He had a question about expense. How do you deal with that question?
When
Yes.
they, yeah,
Why don't
when
you
they
answer
say
that? What was
that
the question?
it's what I get a lot is, oh man, it's so expensive. And another thing they say is, do I have to live on these for the rest of my life?
Okay. Those are
I'm-
great questions. Did you
I'm
want
happy to
Yeah,
share,
go
Robin.
for it, Michelle.
Great, Michelle.
Okay, because I just dealt with this yesterday, Royden. I had
Wasn't that
tea
great?
with a friend, and she said, first question was, how much are they? And she looked kind of scared. And I said, well, at least you asked how much they are instead of, are these expensive? Because when I said, because when people ask, are these expensive? I like to come back and say, compared to what? Compared to being unhealthy, compared to being in the hospital, compared to missing out on work because you're sick. So I said to her, it's less than a coffee a day. And I said, if you like a latte, it's a lot less than that. And I like a latte. So I say that, Royden. And then I've talked with my sponsor, Helen, about this because there are people who truly, truly are struggling. Okay. And we want to help them. And there's so many answers to that question. Like you can join at $25. If you enroll people, you can start making an income. But that's another story. Let's say they don't want to do the business, at least not now. I say, Helen and I came up with this. I say, if you can afford, first I say, is there anything you can cut out? Is there anything you're doing? Do you go out to eat? Like this woman yesterday, she said, no, I never go out to eat. I said, okay. And she says, I don't go out for coffee either. I said, okay. So then we get down to, if you could afford $100 every other month. And you can use the patch. And I don't know how other people feel about this, but this is something that's worked. People like this. It takes resistance down. And I say, and maybe use the patch for less time, but use it every day. So instead of 12 hours a day, maybe you use it for 8. And, set your timer. So you are using the same patch 2 days in a row.
Mhm.
So it's just, there are ways, even if people say I can't afford, but can you afford 50 a month?
Yeah.
So
I did that strategy when I got started, and I found the results weren't as good. So I went back to wearing 12 hours a day, take a 12-hour break, and then the brand new one the next day. Because I
yes.
did that, and for a lot of my people, they weren't having success. So
Mhm.
They weren't noticing.
Yeah,
And
they weren't noticing.
people don't notice. It's time to give them more education of what's really going on, whether they're noticing or not. And price is absolutely related to value. And they understand the value when they get educated on what's happening in their body. And that's where you want to feed people lots of stories. You want to get them on Doc Talk on Sunday, on Monday morning Miracle Call, so they can hear what is happening to people. So it really, if it's valuable enough, people will always find the money.
Mhm.
Then the
Mhm.
relationship between costs goes away because the impact of what's possible transforms.
And I'll
Okay.
just say one more
Yes.
thing about it. I like to talk in kind of metaphors. What's cheaper, oil change or an engine?
Oh, good one, Gregory.
A really good one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Larry, you've got your hand up. Hi, Larry.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you again. I enjoyed the idea about getting to know people. And I wanted to mention that I've used the tracker as a prospecting tool.
Nice.
I've actually talked to people that were friends of mine, and I just said, hey, while we're on the phone, let me just ask you a few questions. Mental clarity. Can you give me a quick ranking? And it's really set the table, for future discussions. But it's fun. It's a tool they'll ultimately use. I write it down, I scan it, and I email it to them
Beautiful.
and just have some fun. So I do in both sections, and that's just a little tip. It's been successful, twice now out of 4 or 5 people.
That's
I wanted to
awesome.
mention just a phrase. We do talk about the cost of a patch compared to something like coffee. I've started saying a mug of coffee or a mug of beer.
A
trying to
lot
find
cheaper than
I was trying to
mug of
find a
beer.
container that would hold both liquids, and it came to me that a mug of coffee, mug of beer, mug of hot chocolate, mug of Coke.
That's
I'm using
good.
mug a lot. So anyway, I just thought maybe somebody can use that, but it's made it very friendly and conversational to have that kind of discussion and with things they can relate to, especially about expense and trying
Beautiful.
to soften that a little bit. So
Adds
anyway,
a little levity to the discussion too.
yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
but not everyone's a coffee drinker either.
Exactly. They might like a beer, but who knows? But anyway, thank you for that, and I hope it can be of help to some people.
Thank you. And I love, Larry, that you're scanning you can send the health tracker as a PDF, or you
Yes,
can
Mhm.
scan it. It's available as a PDF, so you can send it directly that way too. But I
sure.
love
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
but he's filling it out, then sending it to them.
yeah. I'm filling it out and
Yeah,
scanning it with their results
that's awesome.
and
Oh,
send it to them and
I
say, hey,
missed
here's where
that.
we're at.
Oh my
But
gosh, that's so great.
You
they've
know, one of
never.
my mentors one of my sales training mentors taught me qualify before you present. What a
Yes,
great way to qualify if you can find out where their touch points are,
yes,
and if this thing could make a change in that, and you know what
yeah.
that is, you're a lot closer to a decision.
Well, it's replicatable,
Yep.
duplicatable. If they come in as a brand partner, it's something
Or a
they
customer.
remember, and we do have a little bit of fun with it. So,
That's
you
awesome.
know, so good. I hope it's a help to everybody.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Good
Larry.
idea.
Thank you. Lavelle and Miget.
Morning, good morning.
Morning.
Um, it's Royden that was asking those questions, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Correct. Uh-huh.
Okay. So first, it's always a numbers game. We always know that. That's always speak to more people. The people who speak to the most people build the biggest businesses. That's number one. Number two, people spend money on what they want to. People spend money on what they want to. My wife always said that people like, and you, I think you said it, Robin, or someone said it, that they'll find the money if they really want to use the product.
Mhm.
And I think the last thing is Kim Molina, one of our directors. She said, "Can you carve out $25 a week for your health?" He carve out $25 a week for your health. And then the last thing I think, then you say, how about if I can show you how to get these products for once you get your result, if you share your story, because as we say, facts tell, but stories sell.
Mhm.
We're storytellers. Share your story. Everyone wants to hear a good story. And then now I can show you how to get your products for free. Just wanted to share that with everyone. Thanks so much.
Can
Thank
I
you.
respond to Lavelle, please? It's simple math. Like here in Canada, the X39, if you average out all the taxes, it's either $4, $5, or $6 a patch. And I went with the big number. Let's go with $6. So $6 gets you 12 hours, right, of therapy. That averages out to $2 per hour. If the patches are so
No,
expensive,
it's 50 cents
about
per hour. 50 cents per hour.
is it 50 cents?
Yeah, because
Maybe $2 per
50
hour.
cents times 12 is $6.
Wow, it's even cheaper. I
It's
was
even
gonna say,
cheaper.
if it's so expensive, how about I hire you at that rate and see if you're happy with what you get at the end of the week?
I love it. I
That's
love
I'm
it.
being a bit of a shyster saying that, but
That's
Now, let me give you a non-compliant answer when somebody says it's too expensive. Say, have you looked into the cost of stem cell injections?
oh, I wanted to
I mean,
say
that's what
like,
got us in because Robin was looking at getting a $12,500 stem cell injection, and instead we bought $100 worth of X39.
my dad had his right knee titanium, and then the second knee, the left one, was starting to get to the point where he had to do that. So we went for something called Salsonic treatment. A guy that came to Winnipeg, we went in there, and we each got an hour and a half of treatment with the machine, and then the machine kind of makes micro fractures in the calcified tissue, and then he uses his elbow to kind of break it up completely, whatever. And then afterwards, you have to go to Steinbeck to see a guy at $100. Anyways, we walked in there, so 3 hours total. We walked in there with cash. Can you guess how much cash it took?
1,500?
2,000. 2,000 gone in 3 hours.
That's more than a year's supply of X39.
Exactly. Exactly. It was before
That's
we
great.
knew about LifeWave.
That's great.
Well, thank you so
Okay.
much. We got a few more hands up. Sarah, good morning. Oops, you
Hello,
did.
Where'd you
I'm
go?
here.
Don't
I'm
put
here.
your
I'm
hand
here.
down until you're done
I
speaking.
know. I accidentally pressed that button first.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you guys so much. I had a question because I know there are a lot of amazing and brilliant people on this call. I had at a networking group, I met a gentleman who does stem cell hair implants. Like they put baby stem cell umbilicals, they grow hair, and that's the basis of their business. And of course, he had heard me. They were like, there's someone else in here that is in that kind of technology. And so we connected, and he had heard of LifeWave. Him and his wife had tried it for 3 months. And because there are people who are not, they don't have the requirements for the treatment, because if you have an autoimmune issue that causes hair loss, they can't, help you and guarantee good results. So he was saying he didn't feel like there was enough science behind the technology for him to even promote or give someone information to say, hey, go get your health back together. And so I was like, even with the 20-year patent, the clinical studies, the peer reviews and blind, and he was like, maybe I've missed something. what would you send to someone who is that, and he was open. I think he was open, but he's like, maybe I've missed something, but he's like, to me, the science didn't back up enough for him to promote it, or even or even refer people to myself to help with, overall body stem cell regeneration.
Mhm. You know, there's a document, Sarah, it's called the X39 story. It's 55 pages long,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes into the details on how it was developed and the science behind it that I've seen, health practitioners and, our most, analytic critics, read it and become stalwart advocates. So that's one suggestion. The other is,
Okay.
our patents and science website. What's the name of that website we created, Robin?
I think liveyoungerscience.com, but I think
Yes,
Younger
it is.
Science.
Liveyoungerscience.com.
There you go. So
Okay.
those are two resources you could use with him.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will look into those and send them that way. Thank you, guys.
And I do
Sure.
want to mention that if people are coming from the conventional medical world and comparing our studies to pharmaceutical studies spend a ton of money. We do too, but in a different way, and they have a larger population size. And so sometimes people have a tendency to go, well, there's not enough people. Well, there's plenty of people in the study. It's just they're comparing it to something else that doesn't relate very well. So just know that, because sometimes that happens. Okay, Sunshower, and then Lavelle or Miget.
Hey, everybody, really great job, Jim, Karen, really great jobs. You might know if you've been around at all, I'm going to talk about three-way calls. And if you haven't been around, please listen carefully. You want to lean on your upline, whoever your upline mentor is, and you might have more than one. If you're introduced to all of them by three-way calls, then you might get the hang of what a three-way call is. And then when you have a prospect and they seem interested and they ask a question after you send the video to them, then you say, wow, that's a great question. I'm so new. I still don't know all this stuff. Just a minute. I'll get my friend, blah, 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 who's been doing this a lot longer than me. And then please practice with your mentor how to do a three-way call mechanically. If you don't know how to do it, find out. It's not tough. And then pass the baton and edify the person who's going to be speaking on your behalf. It's just amazing. All kinds of great results happen almost instantly if you will pass the baton. There you go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's amazing how the three-way calls are magic. Even if you know how to answer all the questions, the reason we model the three-way call isn't that you don't know the information, is that you want to model for that prospect that they don't need to know anything. All they need to do is introduce someone and then be quiet, say, I can do that. And that's the main reason for doing a three-way call. It's also to educate the person who brought the prospect to the three-way call. So it's a great, it has many dimensions of benefits. Thank you, Sunshower.
And we'll take one or two more, and Robin and I have to get off because in 5 minutes, Robin, we have a Zoom with Janine, our Vice President of Global Sales, or North American Sales, excuse me. So Lavelle.
Great calls everything, number one. But number two, Gregory, you said a 55-page, what was that?
The X39 story, it's a 55-page document.
It's available on liveyoungertools.com to order it.
No.
Not
No,
that.
No, it's available in Live Younger Success PDF to download.
Under library?
Under the library, yes.
Okay, 55 page. Okay. All right, thank you, Gregory. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Rick, we'll let you be the last one. You get the last word. You're still muted.
I'm a naturopathic physician of 39 years, and the last few years, I've been injecting stem cells into people. So the easiest way for me to promote this product is to say, would you like to pay just $99 a month or $5,000 every 6 months? You do the math.
Great line,
I
Rick.
love it.
Great
Thank you.
Rick. Yeah.
line.
And thank you, Karen, you know, thank you, Jim, thank you, Robin, thank you, everybody. Great call. This will be up on replay on liveyoungeryoutube.com by tomorrow. So I thank everyone for participating. If you'd like
One
to
more
unmute
thing, honey.
yourself. Did you have any
Um,
final comment, Robin, before we jump on the next call?
I just went to Live Younger Success and I did a search for the X39 story and I put the link in the chat.
There you
so-
go.
Thank
Right there.
you.
But you know, you can do a search on Live Younger Success with the little magnifying glass and you can find all kinds of great things. Okay.
Mm. Okay,
Wonderful.
beautiful.
Well, I want to
Alright.
thank everyone for hats off to you guys. Thanks for being with us today. Hats off. Love it. You
Hats
can-
off.
See you all. Thank you.
Fabulous
Thank
call.
Thank you, Robin and Gregory. It's
Bye.
wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thank
you so
much.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Great information.
Thank you,
Okay,
Matt.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Nice hat day.
Go Golden Knights.